I just started.
Okay, hey guys, my name is Steve, and I guess this is my version of lecture rewrites. I try to be really structured and concise and methodical with it because, haven't been the best student, so I try to make up for it. Let's see, the phases of my notes, they go from, in my math class, they're presented as PowerPoints, so I print out the PowerPoints before class. And I usually just follow along and take notes or like write what the teacher is saying on top of those notes that I've already printed out. And then after class, when I'm retaking my notes or just looking through them, I'll mark things and then go to office hours to ask the questions I don't know about, and then I'll make sure to include those in my condensed notes that I take after. And in my condensed notes, I try to keep things pretty short and just put a lot of the reasoning of why I have these formulas and what they're for, but I don't include examples. I separate the examples, but my examples are very thorough, and I make sure to include like thorough solutions. And on top of that, I rewrite all the examples, just the questions, so that in the future I can reference them and take it as my own example test. And then after all that, once I'm getting ready for a final about probably 11 days before or something, I'll start making my exam plan, where I make an exam review sheet covering all the things that will be on the exam and try to condense it maybe to 3 or 4 pages of all my previous lesson notes onto those 3 pages or 4 pages. And then after that, I know it's a lot, but I put it on the note card, and then all that information in the note card after all those phases, it's pretty sealed in here, so that's how I work with it. I could show you. I have a visual representation if you like.
All right.
Okay.
Yes, please show us.
So this right here, I don't know if you can see it.
I see it.
So these are the PowerPoints that I print out, very small, and you can see some pen writing on there, and that's just things that I want to really focus on in class. And then stuff that I highlight, and then I see I have these little post-it marks with the Q pointing because I have questions, and I make sure to ask them in office hours, and then I'll take note of the answer in my notes, which is here. I'm not gonna go too much into this, but it's pretty short. There's a lot of white space, but I try to keep it bare minimum as I can. I don't want to overload myself. And then here, I separate the examples, so I just write the example at the top, and usually we've worked these out in class, and I'll have the solutions. I work out the entire problem, and I like to have a lot of commentary on these examples. Yes.
That's beautiful work, Steve.
Thank you.
You've come a long way. I remember being in the same math class with you. Those notes and these phases you developed over time.
Yeah. So then here's just an example. It's the same exact question, but I just wrote the question and the instructions, and now I try to solve it eventually I try to solve it later on my own without referencing the answers, but I can always reference it if I don't understand how to do it, or just to check my work.
Mm-hmm.
And then second to last, here's just my cheat sheet. Not my cheat sheet, but my exam review sheet. I'll just have things that I think will be important to the test. Here it's 5 pages or 6 pages. That sounds good. But yeah, and after that, I try to condense that even more, and I put it on. These are usually allowed in my exams sometimes, but these are just a note card full of information that I think is most valuable to myself. But a lot of this time, after having rewritten it so many times, I've pretty much absorbed it. But I just put it on there because we are allowed a note sheet. And yes.
Nice.
And after that, I'm ready to get my A. So at least hopefully, But yeah.
Thank you for sharing your phases of learning with us, Steve.
Yeah, no problem. And have a great day. That's all I have to say.
No, we're gonna
Okay.
talk more. Like, we'd love to talk more
Yeah.
about that white space and the readability and how you kind of tackle office hours and what that process is like
Yeah.
in future videos.
I was gonna lead into just even once you're getting the exam back, and just that's another cycle because you have to go over that exam, but that's for another video.
Yeah, cool.
All right,
All right,
see you.
see you next time.